Yes, that's Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons and Begging. And I'm going to play you a track now from Hugh Cornwell, title track, in fact, from his more recent album. And then I'll catch up with him, find out just exactly what he's up to at the moment. Hugh Cornwell, Monster. Cornwell and Monster, title track from the album, which came out, it must have been last year. That was the last time I interviewed you, Hugh. How are you?
Hey Janice, how are you? Yeah, I'm fine.
Jolly good, jolly good. Where are you now?
I'm in London. I just had a cold for a couple of days, and I've managed to throw it off. Thank God it coincided with a couple of days off.
I was just looking at your itinerary. So I hope you're taking plenty of echinacea.
Yeah. I've knocked it on the head, and I'm back ready to play a show tomorrow. Yeah.
You're rocking and rolling. And that track, I remember talking to you last time you were on the show about Harryhausen, Ray Harryhausen, who was just this incredible inventor of monsters, wasn't he? He physically made them.
Yeah, absolutely, with the help of his dad.
Yeah.
His dad was an engineer, and he used to help because he wanted the limbs to move and stuff. So his dad helped him with all the pins inside to make sure that they moved. They were sort of family business, really.
And you must have to be incredibly patient, I think, to do that kind of stuff. I watched The Repair Shop yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it. Somebody told me about it, where they take old things and repair them. And the amount of detail and patience that goes into doing something like that.
What a great idea. I think we should be repairing everything.
Yeah, exactly. No, we should, though, shouldn't we? So many things get chucked in a skip or chucked in a bin and never see the light of day, and then people don't know about them. I mean, Ray, would he exist now because of CGI?
What I've heard is that, interestingly enough, is that they're steering away in new action movies. They're steering away from CGI because they realise that people can spot it.
Yeah.
And once they spot it, it doesn't do anything to them. It doesn't excite them. They go, oh yeah, it's just CGI.
Yeah.
So they're going back to the way it was before, which is sort of using more real footage. And but I mean, with what Ray used to do, it wouldn't affect him because his stuff was so out of this world.
Yeah.
You know, that his creatures don't actually exist. Well, not at the moment. Maybe they'll find one or two.
But I remember being a kid, and you must remember the same thing, watching King Kong scale the Empire State Building and thinking, oh, this is terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's how Harryhausen got into it. His dad took him to see King Kong in New York, where apparently there were queues around the block for like 3 weeks, all day long for 3 weeks, while it was being shown about 10 times a day. It's huge box office at one theatre, and his dad took him along, and he came when he was about 6 years old, and he came out and said, Dad, that's what I want to do when I grow up. And that's exactly what he did.
Can you remember the kind of films you liked watching when you were a kid?
Well, I saw, the first film I remember seeing was a Charlton Heston film, a big, spectacular one, which I loved. But, you know, I didn't really find out about the other side of movies until much later. But, you know, there's so much out there, isn't there? I mean, you can, it's like a Pandora's box.
Mm. I remember being a kid and desperate for any Bette Davis movie to come on the telly. I just thought she was magnificent.
Bette Davis. Well, she made a lot of fabulous films, didn't she?
She was brilliant.
But do people know who we're talking about now?
Possibly not. I don't know. But she was incredible. She was a brilliant actress. She was born on the 5th of April. I know that because my birthday's the 5th of April. She's not older than me. But she always had written into her contract that she had to, the character smoked cigarettes. So every movie she's in, you see her smoking away and being very dramatic.
You can't smoke cigarettes now. It's illegal. It's illegal to smoke cigarettes now, isn't it?
So tell us about this tour.
Well, it's Monster Part 2. I mean, but it's not exactly a repeat of last year, because I realised that, I don't want to repeat myself, so it'd be boring to go out and do the same. So we've realised that a lot more people are more familiar with Monster now, so we're doing more tracks from it now. We're doing 7 out of the 10, and I've also changed the other tracks from my solo catalogue that go with it, because I've got a vinyl remastered album of Beyond Elysian Fields. Which
I love Elysian Fields.
Yeah, well, that's been remastered. It sounds fabulous. So we're playing a few tracks from that, and just changed it all round, actually. And the guys love it. The band, they love playing new stuff. And then when we do the Stranglers set, which is the second half, we're still doing that, the Stranglers set.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're calling the tracks so that I call the first one by looking at the list, and then Pat, my bass player, he picks one, and then Windsor, the drummer, picks the third one. So I've got no control, and I've got no idea what the Stranglers set's going to be from night to night.
Well, that's great, spontaneity.
Yeah, exactly, make it up,
That's really good, and it's never the same any night. And that's also good for the people who will actually go and see you on more than one occasion.
Well, exactly. That pleases them as well.
Yeah. I was reading a great review of your appearance at in Leeds, Broodnow in Leeds. And did you read it about the family who travelled miles and miles and miles and miles and miles?
No, there was a guy from Spain there.
Wow, well, they were from somewhere in the UK, and their daughter goes to uni and lives not that far away from the gig, so they thought, right, we really want to go and see Hugh, so we'll kill 2 birds with one stone. We can go and stay with our daughter and go and they were saying what a great night it was.
How funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was a great night there. It's fabulous.
And you're doing, everywhere, aren't you? I know you're going to Swansea.
We're doing 30th. Different towns from last year, sort of different places,
So who's the most beautiful girl in Hollywood?
Well, it was Hedy Lamarr, who
All
was
right.
fabulous, actress.
Yeah.
A very interesting backstory. I mean, she married an Austrian arms dealer after being spotted by him. She was the first woman to take her clothes off in a film called Ecstasy in the mid-20s. So this the richest man in Austria married her and locked her up in a castle, and she got fed up with that, so she escaped and went to America and met a movie producer, Louis B. Mayer, on the boat.
Oh, yes.
And he renamed her Hedy Lamarr. So she had a fabulous story, and she also invented Bluetooth, believe it or not.
I remember this story.
It's amazing.
She did, didn't she? She was quite a genius.
And she wasn't just a pretty face, you see. She was intelligent. It's a great story. You couldn't make it up.
But at those times in Hollywood, when you think about it, the women had to be beautiful, and all of the time. There were quite often these convenient marriages of convenience, weren't there?
Well, absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I just, the songs on the album are just about a few people that I think have had interesting lives, and
Evel Knievel.
Yeah, why not? You know, I mean, he's never had a song written about him before.
No.
So there you go.
He's
I'm always fascinated by people like, No More Heroes is all about, Leon Trotsky and people, isn't it? So it's continuing one of my fascinations.
All right, well, let's take a listen to the most beautiful girl in the world. This is Hugh Cornwell.
Jealous castle room, by waving at Lamar, became a shooting star. Beware of who you are, Delilah.
fantastic woman, Hedy Lamarr, and that's Hugh Cornwell's song about her, the most beautiful girl in Hollywood. And you were talking about Elysian Fields, and I have had Gary Lightbody on, I've had Simple Minds on, so many people revisiting and reworking, and I think it's such a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, in particular that record, I was never totally comfortable with the way it sounded at the end of when it came out. So to go back and remaster it with someone that's sympathetic to, because it had a lot of acoustic guitar in it. It wasn't totally acoustic, but it had an acoustic feel to it. And now it's more the way I wanted it to sound in the first place. So I'm very, very happy with it.
And also, I mean, fans like to hear what else you can do with something.
Yeah, and particularly if it's never been available on vinyl. Everyone wants vinyl now. So
Yes.
that was never available on the vinyl before. So and it's also 20th anniversary, I think, because it was the year 2000 when it came out next year. So it all made sense. It all made sense.
Good God, that's gone quickly.
I know.
Good grief. Tell me about Tense, because I've told you before, I think you're a brilliant writer.
Tell you about what?
Tense.
Oh, what? Mine, the
New
novel.
novel.
Yeah, Future Tense. It's called Future
Oh, is
Tense.
it Future Tense?
Yeah, you see, it's a play on words. You see, future tense. It's a tense future, and well, it's based in the future. I've always been a big admirer of the writer Philip K. Dick. I think he's the most underrated. I think he's going to be the most influential writer of the 20th century when it comes to it, a reappraisal. And he's had lots of his stories taken and made into movies. It's one of the most adapted writers ever. He's an absolute genius writer, and churned out all these books, and I've always admired him, and so I thought, well, why don't I had a great idea for a science fiction novel, a thriller, so I thought, I'm going to try and write a Philip K. Dick book. So I've had a go, and it's set in the future. It's not determined when, but it's a bleak world out there, I mean... petrol still being used for cars. The whole of the Middle East has gone, and all the Arabs have moved to Miami. The world's starvation problem has been solved by the chlorella, which is a single-celled green plant that they can turn into food in this future. Well, they can now, but it's taken over in the future. So Miami is the centre of the world. It's got all the money there and everything, and there's a young English doctor there, interviewing people and taking their body mass standard, because the world governments have taken obesity seriously, and they're taxing everybody that's overweight. They're taxing them. That's the only way they can stop people from being obese and draining their health services. So he's doing that, in this office, rather like, interviewing candidates for the army or something. And if they don't fit into the box that they've got for their body shape and all this and their age and all this, then he has to report them. And or they go on a diet or something, or go and do some exercise or something. I'm simplifying it, and basically he gets compromised by somebody and accepts some coercion, and then all his problems start.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to reading that. Future Tense. When is it coming out exactly?
It's being published on Amazon in the new year.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the final typeface and everything to be done.
Yeah.
And I've drawn a picture for the cover, which includes sort of elements of the story which you'll only understand once you've read it. It's fun. It's fun.
Well, I tell you what, when it comes out, I will get a copy, I will read it, and hopefully you'll come back and have a chat about it.
I'd love to, Janice.
That'd be really, really good, because as I say, I really have enjoyed the stuff that you've written in the past, particularly Window on the World, which I thought was a fantastic read.
Oh, great. Yeah. Well, we've got plans for that at the moment.
Oh, movie?
Possibly.
Drama series?
Yeah, possibly. We'll see. It all takes time.
Yeah, we'll give you nothing away. Well, lovely to talk to you, Hugh, as ever.
Great.
And take
I
ca-
think I'm coming to play in Wales for the first time in a long time.
Yes?
When is it? It's the end of this month, I
Yeah,
think.
it's 30th of November in Swansea.
There you go.
At
I haven't
Sin
played in
City.
Swansea. I can't even remember where it is. Swansea. Is it past Cardiff?
Yeah, you'll have a great time. The people are lovely.
Yeah,
You'll have a
Saturday
fab
night.
time. Brilliant stuff. Well, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
All
Nice
right.
to talk to you again.
Lovely, you. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Whatever happened to
The Stranglers and No More Heroes, and I'm glad Hugh is recovering from his cold and took time out to chat with us, and definitely get him on again when his latest novel is published early next year. Arrival, friends!